Am I the asshole for blowing up at my wife over my daughter's school picture? Throwaway account using fake names. I, 60M, have been married to my wife, 51F, for around 15 years. We also have a beautiful daughter named Haley, 17F, who is in her junior year of high school. Yesterday after school, Haley came up to me and my wife and showed me her school pictures, both her individual photo and her grade photo. They were taken all the way back in February, but they had just arrived today. I complimented Haley and told her how beautiful she looked in the photos, before telling her how proud I was to see her grow up throughout the ages, before showing my wife the pictures of our daughter. It did not go the way I thought or hoped it would go. Instead of looking at it for a bit before saying something, my wife immediately pointed out to Haley that she was looking too downward at the camera and that her eyes looked strained and forced. I was a bit taken aback at first, but I decided to just keep listening. My wife then said to my daughter that she would have to have rehearsals for school pictures with her for next year, because in my wife's words, Haley still doesn't understand how to properly pose, smile and look beautiful for a school picture. I was a bit irritated, but I let it slide. What set me off though, was my wife then said, Haley's picture is a fail. Honestly, Melissa looks the prettiest out of everyone. Haley got quiet and said, I'm gonna be honest, my picture this year is really bad compared to sophomore year. I got mad that evening. We had a huge argument in the living room. I told my wife that she was being cruel to our daughter, and since school pictures were over, there was no point being so picky over it. My wife retaliated, saying that even Haley says that she doesn't like how she looks in her school picture. I was just being honest. I'm only trying to help her. She then went into her room and started crying, saying that I don't understand her. I will admit, I raised my voice while we were having that argument, and I'm seriously sitting here questioning myself about whether I was the asshole or not. After our argument, I knocked on Haley's door and I could tell by her expression that she had listened to every piece of the argument. I feel bad because I may have overreacted to something as simple as school pictures. Plus, I ruined my daughter's evening and my wife's too. And I also made my wife cry. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit. This is not the first time my wife has said something like this. This is why I feel even more terrible because I let my daughter suffer like this. I did give my wife a word or two, but I always told Haley that this was just the way she spoke and that she really did love her. I really want to cry right now, especially overhearing Haley crying herself to sleep yesterday night. She always kept on a brave face around me and my wife, but it just breaks me even more now knowing she feels like she can't talk to me either. I failed her. Haley always asked me every morning if she looked beautiful. She would always ask at mealtimes if she was eating too much. I'm so afraid of the damage we both put her through for so long. I'm so scared she's going to develop an eating disorder, and I'm going to make sure to set things straight with my wife and take care of my daughter better. She is always my first priority. Edit 2. I was taken off guard even though my wife has made responses like this in the past, because though it's not the first time, I had a little bit of hope left that she wouldn't point out Haley's appearance that outright in her school photo. Update. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their generous comments and advice. As promised, here is the update. After my wife left for work, I decided to check up on my daughter. She was in her room doing homework, and I could tell by the forced expression that she was not okay. As she talked, everything began to make sense. My daughter overheard her mother shaming her in front of the other church moms. She heard them boasting about their kids, and her mother would use condescending modesty, such as, she's gained weight, and she doesn't even study hard. She was tired of trying to surpass my wife's expectations. She couldn't stand it when my wife was in the house. She asked me, why am I her diamond? She cuts me to make me shine. How more of this should I take? I prepared her all the foods I promised to make, and she was hesitant, but ate a lot more than when my wife was around. She wanted to further talk with me. I then asked if she wanted me to tell my wife how she felt. Haley said it was the only way to get her to listen, before telling me she wants me to get a divorce. I asked her if she was absolutely sure, as it was something very serious. She said she was fine with it. I'm just devastated it has reached this point. When Haley was at school, I had a conversation with my wife. I brought up Haley's concerns, along with mine. I asked my wife what made her put down my daughter on the day of the school picture incident. She made excuses such as having bad days, hence she'd accidentally release her anger and other emotions by yelling, using the silent treatment, etc. I questioned further if there was anything in the past that was bothering her, which she replied snarkily, nothing is bothering me. I raised her into a better person. If you have problems with how I'm raising her, she's all yours. I don't want to argue anymore, especially with a sensitive, lazy person like you. We had a lot of arguments in the past on raising Haley. This phrase was used in all of our arguments to shut me up, as Haley was consistently used as an emotional punching bag and a trophy for my wife. This was the last straw. I told my wife we were done, then told her to pack up and leave. I thanked her for letting me realize my self-worth. After some time had passed, she had driven to her parents' house and was staying there for a bit. When Haley came back, she noticed her mom's room was a lot barer than it was and knew what had happened. I hugged Haley and told her I was sorry for the mess I had caused, before reassuring her that nothing was her fault. I told her my ex-wife would come back a few more times to collect the rest of her stuff, but our relationship was over. This event shook me up a lot, but I know things will get better. I'm trying to make Haley always feel loved. Haley, you are my universe, and that will never change. Wow, what a ride. I'm really chuffed the dad sided with his daughter and put her first. Dad for the win. But let us know what you think in the comments section, and don't forget to follow to stay tuned for more juicy drama.